What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about the age of information and how it is now everybody's waking up. And how, as we advance to this age of information, how it was inevitable for people to start waking up. All we needed was certain things to coalesce for people to start waking up. And as I have this conversation, I just want you to think while I'm talking. I want you to think about who were the people who put us in the situation to where we could be advanced enough to get to this point. Meaning, who invented the science, who invented the technology to get us to this point, right? And I always like to emphasize that, us as humanity, like for instance, your eye, right? Your eye is your window to the world. Right? That's where it all starts. We start gathering information from our eye, right? And we have our other senses, but our eye is the main one, right? Right? So we view the world and then we interpret it and then we move about it, right? And so we see, usually all we can see is what's right in front of us, right? There was a point in time that the only information that we had was the information that's right in front of us, right? But as we advanced as human beings, we started to figure out other ways to save, record data, information, and figure out things beyond where we can see with our naked eye. We started traveling, making waypoints. We started spreading, creating culture, doing all sorts of things, right? And that's something as Africans have been doing longer than anybody else. So we've been gathering lots of data longer than anybody else. And this is all objective. This is just true. This is just raw reality. We have been gathering data as human beings vastly longer than everybody else. So inherently, we would have in our DNA, in our genetic code, the propensity to be geniuses, to create, to invent. That's why if you look at all the structures in Africa, they're older than everybody else's. Right? There's no argument, even though there's a lot of pseudoscience out there. There's so many layers of racist science and other disciplines and historic events and everything that we're still trying to clean it out. And a lot of people still believe, a lot of stuff that's just not true. But with the real data, we have the oldest and most elaborate culture in the world. We're talking about, we're the first miners. We're the first people to actually go into the earth, look for a rare mineral, pull it out with the purposes of utilizing it. All right. We're the first ones to do that, along with many other things. Right. We perfected architecture. Our structures still stand to this day. Despite the pseudoscience that we already know exists, we already know there's no longer a question. There's no more a shout. There's no more plausible deniability. There's no more nuance. We know for 100% fact that Egypt's Kemet was a black civilization, and all that is black architecture, and that the rest of West Africa, East Africa, South Africa all had great and equal civilizations with just as impressive architecture and advanced civilizations with advanced governments and rich cultures, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, of course, history, is what it is, and we are where we are now. But that doesn't change the fact that we are still those people with all that information and data. And yet again, we're still inventing the sciences, right? Inventing the disciplines, while also inventing the actual materials it takes for us to expand our awareness, our awakeness about our surroundings, right? From the telephone to internet to the cell phone. Think about the technologies that we invented over here in America alone, under duress, right? Under duress, that we invented. Think about how integral we were into getting ourselves into space. Think about how integral it is that our expertise in the medical field makes it so vaccines are a thing that saves millions of lives, because that came from an African. They learned that from an African. How to vaccinate. That came from us. These are the histories that they're trying to eliminate. in the Republican Party by burning books and getting rid of information that doesn't fit the narrative that they want to lay out. That happened here. We've continued to invent even in the farming sector. We are the ones who came over here and planted these fields. That's why they brought us over here. That was us at first. They took that from us. We invented all the music that's popular, that make people come to America, that made it have some sort of flavor and swag. That was us. We're also the economic engine that gave them the money to actually do all the things that they did. Think about it. 400 years head start. 400 year head start on the market. I mean, that's why America is so rich. That's why America is so rich. So at every aspect of America, the greatest, most powerful country that ever exists on the planet, every aspect, you can't have none of it without us. We are an integral part in it, whether we wanted to do it or not. Whether we volunteered to do it or not. Whether we were slaves or whether we were indentured servants, whether we were employees, whether we were business owners, it doesn't matter. We were integral and the mainstay and the reason why a lot of our advancements and we are where we are today. That's the truth, despite what anybody want to say about us. Look at right now, look at the world and look how we are being looked upon to be the authority on the moral guidelines of what is right and wrong. Look how every group, when having their conversation, needs to include us as the basis of theirs. Whether it's racist, whether it's hating, whether it's admiration, defending, whatever. Either way, we seem to be the center of everybody else's conversation. And we all know by now why it is that they don't like us. We know why it is we don't have to keep asking. We know. We know. We know what it is. The same reason people, and I always like to use this. I always like to use this analogy. LeBron James. Why do people hate LeBron James? You know why they hate LeBron James? Because they wish they could be LeBron James. LeBron James came in high school, tall, successful, married to a beautiful black woman, no drama, never messed, didn't do anything crazy, did everything right, had his kids, wonderful children, good role model, champion, one of the greatest in the world. The only thing they ever did was talk about his hairline and how they didn't like how he made his moves when he switched teams. That's the only thing they ever had on him. But people look for reasons to hate him. Why? Because they wish they can be him. Because he did it the right way. And he's from the bottom and he made his way to the top. And he's one of the greatest. With almost no controversy that's worth mentioning. That's why they hate him. Okay? That's my analogy. Because there really is no reason to hate him. There is none. Unless you just don't like his personality. Overall, there is no reason to hate him, but many people do. Right? So why do you think they don't like us? You know why they don't like us. We demonstrated with our music. We demonstrated with our athletic ability. Just look at all the sports. Let's just keep it real. Let's look at everything we participate in and what happens. Everything we're allowed to participate in, what happens? Let's just tell the truth. When everything is equal, because black people, we never want to dominate. We don't want to dominate over anybody. That's not within our. We don't want to do that. No, that's not an inherent thing in us. Even though I'm not saying that we don't do that in Africa, it hasn't happened, but we're not like that. We have a balance of how we do things. We don't want to just dominate for the sake of dominating, killing for the sake of killing, destroying and ruining for the sake of just destroying and ruining for fun. We don't do that. It was always a reason. That's not in our nature, right? We never did that. We've always been mostly peaceful people, right? That's why we're so accepting. That's why everybody, when they go to Africa or when they go into a black community, that's why they can walk around safely, because we take care of people who comes in our communities automatically. That's an African trait. That's something that we do. That's great, but it also is one of our downfalls because we accept everybody in and we share our culture. That's why we are the most influential people on the planet, because we are the nicest ones on the planet, and we accept we don't have any, we don't feel the need to feel belittled by anybody else's culture, other than when we've been brainwashed as a to believe that white culture is superior, which is a technique that white people are really good at. They're really good at, making you feel a certain kind of way. You got to give them the credit, and we can be naive as African people, right? Believe in everything that everybody says. But the thing is, we are the most influential people on the planet when we actually focus our attention and our intelligence and our millions of years of experience on this earth. We've been through many eras already. We've been through worse things than this already. We've competed with other Homo sapiens already. We've done all the heavy lifting already. We, African people, as aboriginals on the planet. Everybody else in their culture sits on the foundation of African people and our accomplishments. That's a fact. That's why we're hated. LeBron James. So people who hate, who have envy, they do everything they can to tear down that which they envy. Jealousy is actually envy. It's toxic envy. It's admiration. It's toxic admiration. They have to trick themselves. They have to trick themselves into being superior. They have to trick themselves into believing it. African people, we don't need museums really in Africa. Our civilizations are museums. They need museums because we are the ones with the history. The melanated people are the ones with the history. We don't have museums full of European goods, full of anybody else's goods. Everybody else around the world has museums full of African goods. Everybody. As African Americans and as African people, most of these countries on this planet we just can't name, outside of the European and the main Asian ones. Most of them. And we can't name the tribes and groups of people in that country. We can't name that. But you go to every country on the planet, you go to every corner on the planet, everybody knows what an African American is. Everybody can name at least one African American. And obviously I'm being reasonable, people who was in touch with like TV and radio and all that stuff. People who listen to entertainment. Everybody knows about at least one African American. Everybody. We are known. So that if you notice, everybody from every different political and social and economic group, when having conflict, always seek out the African American to use our voice, our power to influence. And when we don't use our power of influence the way they want us to use our power and influence, we get punished for it. That's a fact. Because everybody wants to use our power. And now that we're getting to the point where everybody can see, you see, the old world is dying and the new world is coming. The age of information is bringing on a new world. These old dinosaurs who used to operating in a room, an era at which you couldn't see anything, where things were secret, where you can do things behind closed doors. You can fight wars and nobody even know about it. You can depose whole countries and install dictators and nobody even know about it. We'd have never known about any of this stuff unless somebody reported on it. But then we got to the point where even these governments had the ability to turn off the internet, turn off the TV, turn off the radio. But we're at a point where they can't do that no more. They can try to turn off the internet, but you see, we the people who are woke will find a way to turn it back on or navigate it. Because in the age of information, science and technology goes deeper to even the understanding of all these old crusty ass governments still trying to depose the people and keep the people blind in them old ways. They don't know what they're doing. This is a new era. This is a new age. Because people are waking up. Everybody's waking up. Everybody can see now. There's nothing you can do without the whole world looking at you. That's why everybody is looking at a certain place right now and judging a group of people right now for what everybody can see them doing right now. And there's no way to spin that on anybody's news cycle, on any of these news network television programs that try to spin narratives that nobody in their right mind believes. So while the news networks are to gather together, spinning the narrative that they want to tell us to believe, we are on social media communicating with each other because we have unprecedented amount of access to each other, and we don't need them to tell us what's happening in the world today, because we are the world, because we all can see, because we all waking up. That's what this eye is. We all can see. They can't hide it. That's the thing. That's why it's important to talk. Speak up. If you got something to say, say it. That's why it's important to record and put it out there and not be afraid of what the machine going to do to you. They can't do it like they used to do it anymore, because now there's powers of numbers, because everybody is waking up slowly but surely. There's people who haven't done it yet, but look how massive there is of people who are finally waking up now. So that's what you need to think about. That's what you need to think about, black folks. And now is our time, because guess who got the influence? Us. Guess who got the biggest voice? Us. And guess who everybody seems to be looking for to make a decision on who we support, what we think, what we do. Anyway, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.